Hello? Hey, Harrison's got an announcement to kick us off. Hey, here you go.
All right, what's up? My name's Harrison.
Harrison.
And a lot of you guys have probably seen this before. This game is called Spike Ball. Yep.
Classic.
All right, so what Merge is doing is we are hosting the first annual Intramural Spike Ball League.
Hey, let's go.
Yep.
When is it?
I could hear a bit more cheering if you guys
yeah.
want. All right, nice. All right, so how this is going to work is you have tonight to sign up, you have next Sunday to sign up, and then the Sunday after that, we will start. I'm thinking it'll be like a 4-week regular season, and then the week after that, we'll start going into the playoffs. So it's like legit league, you know, playoffs. There's going to be winners, there's going to be losers.
Is there any prizes?
I think
Like a
I
cup
think
or
there's going to
something?
be big prizes.
Spike Ball Cup?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Jaws.
I'm thinking we'll start at like 4 o'clock on Sundays or something like that. So yeah, tonight you can sign up by going to Kylie at the kiosk like center thing in the middle. If you want to sign up with a partner, you two can write your names down together and like somehow highlight that you're going to be duo partners. Or if you not sure who you want your partner to be, you can enter in a solo and we'll pair you up with a partner. So yeah, go see Kylie. You need your name and your phone number. And then later on tonight, Jeremy will make some sort of like link in the Instagram bio that you can sign up that way. So yeah, Intramural
Sweet.
Spike Ball League, hosted
Awesome.
by Merge. It's happening, baby.
Hey, let's go.
Yep.
I'm hyped. Let's go. Thanks, Harrison. How's it going? Hey, guys, doing tonight? Welcome to Merge. I want to welcome the mothers in the room. Happy Mother Day, or significant woman, if you're in the room also. I'm Alan. I'm a senior. I graduated from Carmel last December.
I'm Riley. I'm also a senior at Noblesville.
And we have some announcement for you. You want to kick it off?
So seniors, if you have not already submitted your photos for senior night, make sure you email those to Kylees, KYLEES, @gracechurch.us.
And then senior send out is next week, and seniors, it's kind of send off, but I mean, you can still come back in the summer if you want to, but it's going to be kind of the annual send off, so make sure you're there. It's gonna be a
After
blast.
the seniors leave, we won't be too lonely because the freshmen are coming in on the 23rd.
Oh yeah, from
So-
Fuse, stepping up. And then kind of transitioning, if you are interested in leading a middle school small group, 6th, 7th, 8th, we are asking for Fuse leaders, so if you're interested in that, talk to Danny after tonight, not after small groups. We are not having small groups. People online, do not try and look for a link because there will not be a link.
And our last announcement, if you guys want to go on a missions trip this summer, the only one we are having is Indy, and the applications are still open. They close May 16th, so make sure you guys sign up if you're interested.
Yeah, Indy, let's go. Okay.
So we're going to play some games tonight.
Oh yeah. First game, Bring Me, right?
Our first game is going to be Bring Me. So if you haven't played before, I'm going to tell you, bring me a watch. And then whoever brings me a watch first gets the point. We're going to do
Grab
boys
that
against
one.
girls. So, and you're bringing them to me. First item, bring me 18 cents.
18 cents? That is so... Hey, you can bring it right here. I'm taking collections. Generous
That's
donations of
like
8.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Do you
5,
have-
6, 7, 8,
8? You got a dime?
9. Dime. 18 cents. Okay, I got 18 cents. Thank you. You want it back? Okay.
Go this way? Over there. So we
Next
can do
item,
multiple.
bring me a sock with a hole in it.
A sock. Hold on.
Oh, wonderful. I don't, yep, that's a hole. Girls have 2 points. Bring me a redhead.
Redhead.
No, she's bringing you. Girls have 3 points. Boys, you better pick it up. Next one, bring me a school ID. Carmel High School. Boo. Girls have 4 points. Bring me a water bottle.
I'm gonna say do not.
5 points. I love the participation, Nicole. Thank you.
Dude, I immediately thought, I was like, oh, God.
Bring me a drummer. Boys get their first point. Bring me a book that's not the Bible. A notebook counts. Another point for the girls. I don't know how many points they have, but they're definitely winning. Bring me a sibling. Hey, another point for the boys. Boys now have 2 points.
Hey, let's go.
Comeback season, baby. Comeback season.
Bring me
3-1.
a youth pastor that got a math degree. Another point for the girls.
That was clever. That was clever.
And last one, bring me a shoelace that's not attached to a shoe.
Oh, that's tough.
I tried. It was too much work.
No
I saw
one.
you grab for my shoe. I was like, what are you
That's
gonna
a
wash
big
my feet?
slave right there. I know. That's a lot
The
of work.
Fuse kids do it very easily. No. The point's there. The point's
You
there.
did
Go get
ask
the
for it.
points.
In fairness.
Who would have a shoelace that's not like connected to their foot?
Thank you.
What
For
would
our
you
next
use that
game,
for?
we need 6 volunteers.
6.
Oh, a shoelace, untied.
Do you think that we should have like a mom and a student
Yes.
together?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So we need 3. If you have a mom with you and your mom is so willing to play this game with you, we would love to have a mom come up. Come on. Right there's one. It's first come. I'm not fighting, so 2 right there.
Here we go.
2 right here. It's first come, first serve. I don't know how this is all gonna work. You're all fighting. I don't care. We need. Oh, we got 6. I'm sorry, we're good. Okay. You gonna explain this or am I explaining this? You got this. Go for it.
So, you guys have plates of Cool Whip in front of you. In the plates, there are 3 ping pong balls. You have to lay down on the ground without, you can put the goggles on, lay down on the ground without using your hands, find the 3 ping pong balls.
And the first pair to get them wins.
Yes, the first pair to get all 6.
Yes, all 6.
Okay,
all 6
Jeremy and I will
is
be
the winner.
referees for each
What?
side.
You
Riley,
can
do you want to
only
watch
use your
them?
face.
Jeremy will watch them.
You
I'll
may
watch them.
only use your face. You can take your face mask off. That's highly recommended.
I would put those on
And
if
you
I
don't
were
have
you.
to wear the goggles, but they look legit. So come on, if you want to look good playing this game, you have to wear the goggles. Look at this. Like, we got model
There we
status
go.
right here going on. These moms are ready. This is great. Okay, we're going to count them down now. Here we go.
Yeah.
3,
2, 1, go!
go!
Hey, Jeremy.
She got the best.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Jeremy,
She
they're
got
not
the
even wearing the
best. We got
the
her
glasses.
She got him!
What?
Oh my word, they got him!
We've got a winner. That was a
Did they
lot
already
faster.
win?
Well, I will say
That
she
was too
first,
easy.
but
That
they were
was
first.
too easy.
So can we just see who can eat the whipped cream the fastest now? Is that what?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
Who can chow
we
down
got
all the whipped cream?
thousands all
Oh,
for
she's
it.
already ready
The
to go.
moms
She's
are
like, let's go.
No. You guys did. You're going for it? Are we? Okay. Let's see. Let's see who can. You don't
Okay.
all have to do it. But
So
let's
whoever
see
finishes
who
their
can
whipped
consume
cream
the whipped
first
cream the
wins. That was
fastest.
too easy.
Here we go. That was much
Okay.
easier than I thought.
Okay.
Here we
Okay,
go.
she's taking
3,
some.
2, 1, go.
Go.
This is for real.
Oh, girl, you're getting your hair in there.
The fact that Allison's just spitting it up. That, oh my gosh.
This is kind of gross.
Allison, this is going on Instagram, and it's never being deleted. Oh my gosh.
I feel like you'd eat hair too if you got long hair coming. I feel like if you're trying to
it
eat
just
the whipped
needs to
cream,
be
you
off
got
the
hair.
plate.
ball-
If you get it all in your hair, that's okay.
That's true.
No. Don't throw it at me. I'm innocent. Look at this camera shot on Allison's face right now. She's got a perfect
She's got a whole
goatee. Look at this. Oh my gosh, this is great. Woo, I'm making the way of this camera though. Oh my gosh, you
this.
guys are killing it. Okay.
Eat that.
Okay. No. Oh no. Okay. Let's not get the stage all dirty any more than we already have. You guys did a wonderful job. Because we're so kind, we do not have any way for you to clean your face. But if you walk through those exit doors, there's the bathrooms right over there. Highly recommend that you use them, and we will clean this up. You all, I do not want any. Give it up for him. Give it up for him. No, I really don't. This is all expensive. Okay. Go
While
for
they're
it.
cleaning up, our next game, you need a cup and a partner.
Yeah, I was kind of.
So one cup per partner.
1 cup per partner.
So get a partner, come up and grab a cup, and spread out throughout the room.
I can do it.
Sure. I know. You want to go throw that away and wipe your hand off? Okay, is everybody ready? You're going
Yeah.
to explain the game. Got this.
Here. Yeah, actually, I'm helping Jeremy clean up. If you want to do it.
So we're going to say head, shoulders, knees, and then followed by other body parts. You have to touch those body parts. And then when I say cup, the first person with both hands, when I say cup, you have to grab the cup first. Whoever grabs the cup wins.
Example
okay, Zach and
A
Kyle will
right
be our
here.
Example.
Okay. Shoulders, ears, hair, toes, knees, thighs, cup.
Nah, they're fine. I have like 500 of them.
See, Zach won.
Zach would be the winner of that.
Okay, here, I'll do it.
Thank you.
It's kind of fun. Okay, one more practice round and then we'll do the real thing. Okay,
Everyone's in this practice
all right.
round.
Head, shoulders, nose, ears, mouth, toes, knees, butt, cup.
Oh, this one. How many moms
Yeah,
won?
winners
How
play
many
win-
moms won?
Actually, no,
We
that
got
was a
some
practice
moms
round.
who won.
There's one more practice.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
Practice round. All right, now this is the real thing.
Keep going, right?
All right, yeah.
Now you
yeah.
gotta find a new
No,
partner,
it was
right?
a practice round.
Oh, that was
okay,
practice?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
okay.
Moms
Now
who
this is the
won,
real
and now
thing.
you
We were
have
just
to
doing
win
a
second
practice,
time.
all right?
That's a rip.
Okay. Elbows, toes, knees,
Well
hips,
done, ladies.
ears,
There are
hair,
cups right in front of
eyes,
the page.
cup. Let's go.
Maybe after service. No.
All right, so if you won, found another person that
Yeah, maybe
won.
we should.
Winner,
It's like-
find winner.
It's like basic Clorox wipe or whatever. Well, that works. That's fine. It's on the
Okay.
far end and that one
Are we
spot
ready to
right
go?
there, you'll see it.
Okay.
Anyone else? Are you both winners?
Knees, eyes, ears, hair, shoulders, elbows, thighs, butt, knees, toes, heels, cup.
Find your other winners.
We can get you more. Yeah, we got some.
All right.
Out at the info
Ready to
center.
go?
If you are inside
Okay.
the info center and you're looking
Toes.
at the outdoors,
Head,
Left
ears, knees, ankle, calf, thighs, eyes, head, ears, knees, cup. So we got Riley in the back. Do we have
So
any?
it's- you got-
Come to the front if you.
Okay, come to the front
Come to
if
the
you
front
are still
in
remaining,
it.
so we know
Come
who's
down
still
here
in.
front. We
Okay.
gotta see our potential champions. Ryan's like, who's my?
Okay.
Do we have another person, or you just get
Okay.
a round free?
All right. You ready? Nose, mask, ears, thighs, knees, ankle, toes, butt, ears, head, mask, cup. The showdown of the century right here. We got Ethan Matthews. What grade are
Well,
you
we
in?
got several going on. We have.
No grade. I'm a high school graduate.
Oh, weird flex, but okay.
I got you.
All right, Rylan, what grade are you?
You're going
Sophomore?
down.
Sophomore? Hey, represent
ready?
the sophomores. All right, let's go.
This would be embarrassing
Knees,
right here.
ears, head, hips, knees, ankle, toes, knees, thighs, hips, ears, head, mask, nose, cup.
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
We've got 3, right?
We got the showdown. The
We have
seniors
3.
left remaining.
Well, no, we got
Oh,
3.
no, we got 3. Oh, we actually, how are we?
I just have played like.
Hey, let's do a triple.
Okay, triple.
Triple.
Ooh, 1 cup. In the
Triple,
middle.
1 cup.
Okay, let's bring him up on
Hey,
stage.
bring them up on stage right here.
Come up here.
Right here,
Right here. Okay, so we need
Hey,
to
let's
hear
give
you
it
got
up
2
for the
seniors
final.
versus the freshmen.
The finals right
Here
here.
we go. Zoe, we believe in
Okay.
you.
I want a fair, clean game. No tackling, no wrestling, no spearing, no RKOs, no nothing, all right? Okay. Toes, ankles, knees, thighs, butt, shoulders, ears, nose, mask, head, shoulders, elbows, forearms, hands, thighs, cup.
Oh!
Hey, let's give it up for a
Grand
winner.
champion.
Let's go, let's go,
Hey,
let's
this
go.
is your gift. You can have
Yeah.
the Denton
You get a free cup.
now. Okay. Fine.
So for our last game, we're gonna need 5 more volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
Your arm.
Just come up. Just
I was
come
asking
up.
for it, bro.
I'll mute it. First 5.
2
You don't
more.
know what you're
1
doing, but it's going to be
more.
great. I'm sorry in advance, but we're using saran wrap. If you need to breathe, it'll be okay. Yes, you need to put your arms up like this, like you're a T-Rex. And I need some help.
We need 1 more volunteer.
Sarah, someone. Sarah. No, would you help me do this for the ladies? That'd be wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Just put your hands up like this. Yep, just we're saran wrapping them. Light up a little bit. Actually, here you go. No, 1 person at a time. We're doing 1 person at a time, right? Oh, I mean, you guys can pair together if you really want, but got it? We're gonna like really wrap it. You're gonna lose all your hair, but it's okay. Do you need your hair? Do you like it? Oh, okay. I mean, we could just cut it off. Oh. Just keep going. We're gonna use all of it on just her. She's not gonna move for a week. I feel like we're being really nice. It's not very tight, is it? Can you show us like how much can you move? That's perfect. Okay. Okay, you ready? Your turn.
So if you guys are wondering why we are saran wrapping them, we are going to play
Bring your elbows
saran
in,
wrap
elbows in, elbows in.
charades. So they're going to act out
That's not my
while
problem.
they are
We're gonna cut it off.
saran
okay?
wrapped. So cool. Do we want our first person to come and start acting out?
Charades. We're playing charades.
Ethan.
We're playing T-Rex charades.
Charades.
I feel like some of you have more movement than these ladies do. I feel like Ethan has the advantage. It is. I bet it is. Especially in these lights. Okay, we got another one, don't we? You? Okay, let's go, bro.
I got it. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win for you, Sweet Cheeks.
Okay, sweet cheeks. Sarah, I need some help here. You got it? Okay. Put your arms up. Elbows in.
Is it weird that you're in front of your wife?
No. Well, that's weird. It gets better. The longer you stay in the saran wrap, the cooler it gets. part of the trick. Okay.
All right.
So we want to spread them out, right?
We're one person's acting.
Oh, one person's acting at a time. You're really going to get hot. Okay.
Or should they just all act? No,
Okay.
they are trying to guess what you are acting out.
Oh, you get to act it out in front of all of us. Hey, you all volunteer without asking. Oh, thanks, guys. Okay, so who gets to go first? I think Ethan needs to go first.
Yeah.
Try and center
You go.
right here, sir.
Here you go, buddy.
Here's your action.
Go.
Okay, here
Okay.
you go. How long does he get? No words, charades. Okay, let's go. I mean, keep going. What? What was it?
Riding a carousel.
Who said that? What? Well, you
That
might
was
need more of
impressive.
that, but okay. Okay, next up.
Let's give him more.
Wow, these are
Wow.
too easy. These are
you
too
guys
easy.
Are easy. Okay, or you're just so good. That's what it is. It's not easy.
Okay, next one.
Okay, Zach, your
Molly.
turn. Oh, Molly. Zach's up, and then Molly, she gets a break for just a second. Go for it. I don't know how she do it, bro, but you're doing a great job. Keep going.
I do it for you, sweet cheeks.
Brushing your teeth. I mean, you're doing a great job. Try to do something else that that thing
What
might
are you
do.
doing?
I know. Keep going. That's it. Statue of Liberty.
What?
Okay, Molly, your turn. Statue of
stretch.
Liberty. Good job, Mom.
Sorry, Ethan, you're done. You took it off.
It's all the moms. Okay, you gotta step up for us. Oh my! Ooh, someone was close.
Oh.
Canoeing!
Row, row,
Canoeing!
row.
Canoeing's it! That was well done! Okay, here we go, Zoe. We can unwrap you now if you so want unwrapped.
Do you want to be unwrapped?
I don't know where it starts.
I'm gonna say something.
This is your gift.
Yes, doing the
Yeah, keep it.
dishes.
It's my gift. You did the dishes?
Yeah.
Do you know
You
how to do
guys
the
can
dishes?
go take your seat. We are going to
Turn.
continue with some
No
more
problem.
worship.
Let's get up.
Thank you, sweet cheeks.
All right, will you please stand as we worship? Above all distractions, above every doubt, you have my attention here right now. Love for me, I'll say, yours from the start. You broke through the darkness to have my heart. Ooh, 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 I'm lost to the world. Ooh, 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 in you forever found, in a love that never fades, in a hope that never sways. You'll never let go. This love is wild, wild. You got me reaching toward the sky. Now I'm standing over high. You'll never let go. This love is wild, wild. Oh, it's so wild, it's so wild. This love is wild, wild. Oh, it's so wild, it's so wild. This love is wild, wild. Breaking the silence with heavenly sounds, louder than thunder, shaking the ground. Fear comes to find me, I will be found here in your presence. Your freedom is now. Ooh, I'm lost to the world. Ooh, 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 closer than it's ever been. I feel the swell of anticipation as we believe anything can happen. I feel it in my bones, I feel it on my skin. Heaven's closer than it's ever been. So let it rain. Let heaven fall, let heaven fall. We want it all. Let heaven fall, let heaven fall. Your freedom, your joy, your mercy, your hope. We want it all. Let heaven fall, let heaven fall. We want it all. Every sorrow will drown in the joy of heaven. Every stronghold will break in the healer's presence. I feel it in my bones, I feel it on my skin. Heaven's closer than it's ever been. So let it rain. Let heaven fall, let heaven fall. We want it all. Let heaven fall, let heaven fall. Your freedom, your joy, your mercy, your hope. We want it all. Let heaven fall, let heaven fall. Lungs run out of breath, but our praises never end. Till we're in over our heads, we want it all, we want it all. Till our lungs run out of breath, let our praises never end. Till we're in over our heads, we want it all, we want it all. Till our lungs run out of breath, let our praises never end. Till we're everywhere you hide. Oh, how far I'd scale the valleys if you grace the other side. Oh, how long have I chased rivers from lonely seas to where they rise, against the rush of grace descending from the source of its supply. 'Cause in the heavens and the heartache, we're neither more or less inclined. I would search and stop at nothing. You're just not that hard to find. Oh, I will praise you on the mountain. I will praise you when the mountain's in my way. You're the summit where my feet are. So I will praise you in the valley all the same. No less God within the shadows. No less faithful when the night leads me astray. You're the heaven where my heart is. In the heavens and the heartache all the same. Oh, 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 how far beneath your glory does your kindness extend the path, from where your feet rest on the sunrise to where you sweep the sinners past. And oh, how fast would you come running if just a shadow me through the night? Trace my steps through all my failures and walk me out the other side. For who could dare ascend that mountain, that valleyed hill called Calvary? But for the one I call Good Shepherd, who like a lamb was slain for me. Oh, I will praise you on the mountain. I will praise you when the mountain's in my way. You're the summit where my feet are. So I will praise you in the valleys all the same. No less God within the shadows. No less faithful when the night leads me astray. You're the heaven where my heart is. In the heavens and the heartache all the same. Oh, oh, sing it out. Wherever I walk through, wherever I am, your name can move mountains. Wherever I stand, and wherever I walk through the valley of death, I'll sing through the shadows my song of ascent. Whatever I walk through, wherever I am, your name can move mountains. Wherever I stand, and wherever I walk through the valley of death, I'll sing through the shadows my song of ascent. will praise you in the mountains in my way. You're the sun where my feet are. So I will praise you in the valleys all the same. Don't let God within the shadows. No less faithful when the night leads me astray. You're the heaven where my heart is. In the highlands and the heartache all the same. Peace like a river wash over me. Immerse me in waters deep as the sea. Hide me in love, your healing embrace. I'm like a river, wash over me. Worship your majesty. I worship your holy name. Jesus, my everything. All that I am is yours. Come, Holy Spirit, rain down on me. Break open the heavens and drench the unseen. Pour out your presence as I pour out your praise. Come, Holy Spirit, Lord, have your way as I worship your majesty. I worship your holy name. Jesus, my everything. All that I am is yours as I worship your majesty. I worship your holy name. Jesus, my everything. All that I am is yours. Open the heavens, fling wide the gates, flood every heart with mercy. Pour out your presence, inhabit our praise as we cry, holy, holy. Open the heavens, fling wide the gates, flood every heart with mercy. Pour out your presence, inhabit our praise as we cry, holy, holy. Open the heavens, fling wide the gates, flood every heart with mercy. Pour out your presence, inhabit our praise as we cry, holy, holy. As we cry, holy, Lord, send revival. Lord, send it now. Move of your spirit, heaven breathe. Come now in power, cover this land like you done it before. Would you do it again? More sin revival, more send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power, cover this land like you done it before. Would you do it again? Lord, send revival, Lord, send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power, cover this land like you done it before. Would you do it again? Lord, send revival, Lord, send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power, cover this land like you done it before. Would you do it again? Heaven break out, heaven break out, heaven break out, heaven break out. Lord, send revival, Lord, send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power, cover this land like you done it before. Would you do it again? Lord, send revival, Lord, send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power, cover this land like you done it before. Would you do it again? Jesus, I thank you for the gift of mothers, that they can be here with us tonight, or even mother figures in our life, God. I thank you that they can experience Sunday nights with us, that they can feel how much we love you and are passionate for you, God. God, I pray you just bless our mothers tonight. They've done so much for us. They do so much for us, God. They deserve the world, God. In your holy name, amen.
Woo. Can you guys give it up for the worship team? Give it up. And we're only, they got more coming for you. Got more coming. I just, as we set up, we're doing a little bit of a panel with each of our student ministry staff. The chairs, it's 4 chairs.
Is this one mine? This is mine.
The
Wow.
senior boys.
People love you.
They love me. That's not the adoration I'm going for, but it's okay. So, as we begin, eventually, I just wanted to let you parents know that, mothers specifically, how much of that happens here at Merge is actually student driven. This entire night, the worship songs, the games, all of that was completely led and developed and communicated by students. The same thing for next week, our senior speak out, so I wanted you to know that. But also, even on production stuff. So we have our big production room in the back has students in it, and it's just so you know, your students rock, and this is what your students come to on a weekly basis, and it's incredible. So parents, mothers, you're amazing. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We're gonna start off by introducing ourselves, and we're not in the order I was expecting. So it's okay.
Brian
but
told me I can't sit there.
What's that?
Brian told me I
like
can't
having
sit
you
there.
next
Oh,
I
you're not-
texted you guys and said I needed to sit here. That's your fault. You didn't look at the text.
That's fine.
I was working.
I like having you next to me. So that
We're student ministry people. We're organized.
clearly.
So
Kylie's organized.
facts. I am Jeremy. I am our pastors of kids and students here at Grace.
I'm Kylie. I moonlight in Merge to help out, but
She keeps us organized.
I keep them organized. But I'm the director of hospitality and project management for Community Life.
Yes, I'm Danny. I am the director of Fuse.
Which is our middle school ministry, if you don't know what that is.
Yes, middle school.
Yes.
And I'm Brian. I was formerly the Director of Worship and Programming here in Student Ministries, but my job just changed, and I am now the Senior Director of Digital Strategy here at Grace.
Also known as super bass player.
You know,
What was that?
Super bass player.
Yes, and super bass
Super
player.
bass.
I try.
That's a song.
It is a song.
It is. So Kylie, start us off.
All right, so tonight, for those of you mamas in the room, we, for the last 4 weeks, have been doing a series. Each one of us took a topic on the How to Thrive series, and we collected questions from our students. And through some nice draft picking, literally went
As in you
round
told us what we were
robin.
doing.
I didn't tell you what you were doing. I gave
Close
you an
enough.
option of a few of the items. And we nailed it down to about 9 questions, maybe a couple others that come up as we go since we've got some time. But each of us is taking 2, and we're going to do 1 all together. And we're going to just kind of go through the topics. So we're going to start in relationships, because that's where we started way back when, 4 weeks ago.
Yes.
And yeah, I have the first question. So the question for relationships that I'm answering is not so much dating, but it is, how do I share my testimony in my non-Christian relationships, which is an excellent question. It's a good question for you and your friends, potentially your family members, people you run into on the streets, even, significant others throughout your life. And my answer to that is you want to look like Jesus. The worst thing that we could do, in my personal opinion, as Christians, when we're sharing our testimony, is to grab someone and be like, here's my testimony, down your throat, believe in God. That's just the worst. Someone that is a really close part of my life actually was a believer and had people shove their testimony down his throat, and he quit believing in God as a result of it because it just seemed so aggressive. So I like to think of it as people were attracted to Jesus because of who he was and how he loved people. Jesus didn't go around and say, you, listen to my testimony. I have stuff to tell you. I'm going to teach you something. Come and sit and listen. People were attracted to him because of his energy and how he looked and appeared to them. And that's the best way to share your testimony, is to just look and love others like Jesus. And as you continue to do that in your life and be kind and be caring and loving and supportive of all people, of all beliefs, whether they agree with you or not, then people will kind of be like, that person is different. That person loves differently. That person talks to me differently. That person I know doesn't agree with what I believe, but they treat me like I'm the same as them. And then they'll be like, what is your secret? Why do you love people so well? Why are you so kind? How do you forgive people? And that's when you can be like, let me tell you a little bit about what's happened in my life. Unroll testimony, and that's how you impact people.
I just
especially-
imagined you with a scroll,
Pulling
testimony.
Jesus sit down in front of everybody instead
Yep.
of Isaiah. It's like how to share your testimony.
Fun fact, I have my testimony written out on a scroll. I don't actually, but
Oh, I was going to say what?
You definitely
That would
should
be
now that you
so-
said it, though.
Believe
That
me.
needs
For
to
those of you who
exist.
know her, that would be in such
that's so on
character,
brand.
though.
Oh gosh, that's
Oh
so
my.
on brand.
I expect you to hold her to this. The next time she teaches in Merge, she's going to come out here and she's going to unfurl her sermon.
Go
and teach you
down
all.
the stairs. Just 4 hours of merge. It'll be longer than Jeremy talking ever.
ouch.
Ooh, but yeah, I think that's
You
the
went
best
past
way.
2 minutes, so you can't
You
pick on
said
me.
you were going to take 8, so I'm taking 3.
Okay.
Okay,
out of
well,
my space.
I'm going to mediate
Yes,
this
go.
fight. Question number 2 about relationships. This is kind of a 2-part question. Also, I feel my legs don't touch the thing.
Brian,
I'm
do
just
you have that
floating.
problem? I'm good. Good.
Okay, so the question is how to be comfortable without a romantic relationship. I find comfort in him, meaning the big guy upstairs, like I would a friend or parent figure, but struggle with the lack of physical affection that I would find in a traditional relationship. So we gotta unpack this a little bit. Okay, the first question, being comfortable without a romantic relationship. It's not always easy, and I think we don't know the background behind these questions, by the way, so I'm going to do my best to answer it how I read the question and what I think this person meant. So one, I think friendships with different genders is part of it. Jeremy and I are bros. And that's just it is what it is.
It's true.
And you have to find comfort in yourself to know that that's okay, and I can be friends with a guy, and I don't expect anything else from that friendship other than friendship.
Right.
And that skill is super important as you move through life, because you're going to have classmates, you're going to have professors, you're going to have coworkers, all of these things, and people aren't always going to be exactly like us either. So it's just one of those skills to learn to adapt to situations. Now, moving that towards a romantic point of view. So as I mentioned in my message on loss, I've been single for like 5 years. And what? Yeah, girl. Okay. So, but I didn't always have that mentality, like at all. And there are days when I definitely miss having a boyfriend. Like, there are days I go home, I'm sad, I just want somebody to like cuddle with. Or like I have a great day and I just wish that I had somebody to call. I mean, I call my mom or I call like my friends and I'm like, Mom, this really great thing happened.
You can cuddle with Dobby, too.
I do cuddle with Dobby. Dobby is my dog. He's a pug.
Thank you for the clarifier.
Yes. Yeah. He's a little dog.
So
Okay.
throw that in there.
I don't have Dobby the house elf at my house, guys. Although I wish. Anyways, but it just takes a lot of self-development to come to terms with that. And I would not change a thing about the last 5 years in regards to that. I have gained so much independence, and I have learned to do things on my own that I would never do on my own before. And I've learned that like I don't have to be dependent on somebody to go and do fun things, and I can go and do fun things on my own. So with that, it's just also remembering that like God's in charge, and He will make it happen for me when it is time for it to happen for me. Am I always actively pursuing looking for Mr. Right? No, not really. And you do have to put yourself out there a little bit, but I also just know that when the time is right, the time will be right, and I'm going to keep learning to thrive on my own as an independent woman. The second part is, this is the part where it gets a little bit confusing with this question. So my question back would be, well, what are your motivations with your relationship with God? I think this stemmed from when you said you had a friend who was going to take some time dating Jesus.
Yeah, the friend that was like, when I'm lonely, I go to God. When I'm
Right.
sad, I turn to God.
And I
don't
think
turn to a
that
boyfriend.
that is the important thing to take away from dating Jesus. Like, we're never going to have a physical relationship with Jesus. Like, that won't happen. But what we can do is when we're feeling lonely or when we're feeling doubtful about something, we can go to Him instead of turning to a physical person like you would a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And I think we also... It's okay. You're fine. You're
It's
fine.
Nicole. It's all Nicole.
So oftentimes we go back and forth trying to figure out what is God's will and what's our will, and what is holy and what is flesh driven. So like there's always this battle within us of what we know is holy, but also what we think we want and what we deserve and what we need. And when we start to do that, we have to just stop, and we have to remember that God is control, and we have to like ask Him we have to go to Him with those things and ask Him to help us solve our problems. We can't always turn to another person, and we just have to trust that that process is going to work, and we can't always trust in ourselves to fix every problem. So, yeah, it's frustrating, and I know that there's no answer that's like, do this, and it will be fine. Yeah,
You mind if I piggyback off of that?
sure. We have 15 extra minutes.
When we
here.
were, yeah, right? I told him I was taking all those 15 minutes. When we were chatting about this in the office this week, I think, Kylie, you mentioned about how, like, at this stage in your life, when you were in high school, you thought this guy was Mr. Right. And then, like, that's the guy I'm going to marry, it's going to be boom. And then college, boom, it was this guy. And now it's, like, searching to figure out who that's going to be. It's like, if you think you've found him or found her, and that's solving life's problems, you're actually going into your relationships with the wrong perspective in the first place. And so she's talking about, like, it's not about finding the right person. It's about finding somebody who, one, you can battle life with. Let's be real. They're your battle partners. But to the second end of your question, to that question about dating Jesus, obviously that was more of a joke where Kylie was coming from. Just throwing it out there. That was so you guys know.
Not really.
Not really. Well, you're not dating Jesus because Jesus is your Lord before He's your friend. Mm-hmm. He has a different basis in your relationship. And so I think that question, I love it actually, because I think it can help us clarify what is the basis of our friendship with Jesus. And it actually is Lord first. And if you don't get that right, so much is going to go wrong from that. You know, Grace, we talk about the 6 broken places. At the very top is the separation from God. If we get that one wrong, the rest originate from it. So one of the questions that I'm answering tonight is, I think the question was based on what insecurities have you had, and how has Jesus helped you with that? So a few weeks ago, I talked about Moses, actually the week before this sermon series started, and I talked about how Moses was the beautiful example of overcoming insecurity. So at 3 months old, Moses was adopted, found himself completely unknownly in the palace in Egypt. He grows up royalty, and then he realizes, like Elf kind of did in the movie, that he was very different, right? Took him a while to figure it out, but he was different. And then he observes some things, and he notices that the people that are his brothers and sisters, his family, the Jews, were being very mistreated, and he does something he probably didn't really mean to do. He kills someone, and then after being found out, he does what probably all of us would do. He runs into the wilderness.
He said, "Oh."
What's that?
He said, "Oh."
Oh, ooh, yeah. I'm out. So he gets out. He runs. Well, the thing is, he actually starts a second life. But the thing is, when you run from your insecurities, you actually don't run from them, you just cover them. And so when he ran and started this whole second life, he gets a wife, he gets kids. Well, that past was still there. All those insecurities are still there. So the insecurities I had in 6th grade on why I faked an injury when I got second place in a race.
Poor Jose.
That happened last week. Parents, if you want to go back and listen to last week's, I admit that I faked an injury, so I didn't lose. Those insecurities haven't gone away from me. I'm an Enneagram 3. I hate value means way too much to me. And so other people's opinion of me and my value to them means way too much. I admit it. It's a massive issue. And so as a result of that, I look at Moses' story and I'm like, man, how many insecurities have I run from that I've just covered up with other things in my life? For me as a 3, it's actually I cover up insecurities with successes. The more accolades I get, I'm like, oh, sweet. So other people are going to ignore this problem over here. Every time I do that, it seems as if God just digs those out for me. And I put it that way because I think Jesus actually intentionally digs out my insecurities. Because the one thing I've learned about insecurities is you can't go around them like Moses did. You have to go through them to be successful. To truly thrive and to not allow the insecurities that you naturally have to impede in your ability to love others well. Anybody who has been in a relationship long enough, you know that your insecurities cause you to not be a very good spouse or a very good friend. If you go around your insecurities, you're actually just going around the problem and you're creating more for yourself. And we find that with Moses until he runs into this random burning bush. And what I love about that story is that it shows us that God will meet you when you walk yourself to the wilderness around your insecurities. And then, by the way, he will take you through them. He may be gracious enough to take you through dry land, or he may not. But either way, he's going to take you through your insecurities. And you have to allow Jesus to truly guide you through your insecurities. And to give you a really good example, how has that worked? Probably none of you know this, but I had to write a paper my junior year of college just to stay in school. Many of you know me for I study too much and I care too much about school and I keep studying and I'll never probably quit. Well, I am one of those guys though that the university was nice to let me come back. And I'll never forget having to, it was Indiana Wesleyan and Sarah and I were just married and I had to go to IHOP in Marion. It's one of the worst nights of my life. I had to call my parents. And I was like, Mom and Dad, this was not the thing to hide. I was trying to hide it long enough. And I knew that the grades were bad. And I'm not going to tell the story because I didn't ask my wife for permission. But Sarah and I had a really rough engagement during our junior year of college. And it just wrecked my education. I failed 4 of my 5 classes, killed my GPA. And I had to go to my parents and admit it. It's like, I don't know if the school is going to let me back in. As a 3, that was the worst nightmare of my life. But there was something I learned that night. 2 things. 1, I faced it head on. Unlike most things, I didn't fake an injury that night. Jesus gave me strength that I never knew was coming. I remember Sarah and I praying like nobody's business. We showed up at IHOP a half an hour early because I was so scared of what my parents were going to think. Show up, was like, Mom and Dad, I'm buying the dinner. They knew something was up, right? Totally. It's like, yeah, we just love you. Waited for an hour and a half. IHOP wants us out of the restaurant because IHOP is closed. It takes me forever. You know, insecurities. You hold on to them for
IHOP
months.
ever actually closed? I think it's 24 hours.
This is Marion.
Oh, good point.
So, possibly. Actually, the IHOP did there, and we were really confused, but that's beside the point. It's a great question. And I'll never, so this is the second thing I learned. When I was willing to go in them and I faced them and I didn't fake it, I didn't hide them, I didn't lie, I didn't try to cover them up, the grace my parents gave me was incredible. And Jesus will do that for you. When you are open up and you are honest and you travel through your insecurities, he will always show up. He will always give you grace. And maybe you are unfortunate and you have parents who won't give you grace. He's going to bring people around you who are going to guide you and support you in that. And the grace that my parents gave me, empowered me to become the person I am today. It gave me every ability to push through and still finish and not give up and keep going. And so if I have anything when it comes to your insecurities, Jesus will show up. He will always be the overcomer for you. He will, as we sung, he will climb that mountain for you. But you have to be willing to go right through them. You can't skirt around.
You also have to surround yourself with people who will call you on it and force you out of that insecurity.
Right.
You know, Brian talked about like the masks that we wear, and like one of my masks that I wore for the longest time was like, I'm not an athlete anymore. Like my body physically cannot be an athlete. A couple weeks ago at the gym, we got these new plyo boxes, and I was like, oh no, they're gonna make us do box jumps. And I was like, I can't do that. Like that's not for me. And I was just like stepping up over them. And my friend that I go to the gym with, we're like accountability buddies, and she was like, just do it. And I was like, no, I can't. And she was like, no, really, you can. And I did it, and I could. So like you have to surround yourself with people who will push you out of that insecurity
And
too.
who will believe in you.
Yep.
That's good. Okay.
That was really great. I never cut you off.
I know.
That was excessively over 2 minutes.
I was going to say, I actually had a side question for you, but I'm not going to ask it at this point. We need to
We'll be
just
here
move
all
on.
night, Brian. Don't do
So-
that. Side questions for the end. But that was great.
What's the next question now?
This is the one we're all answering together,
Oh, okay.
which you already kind of touched on my answer.
Yeah, you touched on my answer too. Thanks.
It's all good.
Jerk.
I was just setting it up for you all.
Yeah, that's
So
what you were doing.
this was a very ambiguous question, and as we were sitting in the office, kind of spitballing, oh, this is how I would answer the question, this is how I would answer the question, we all had a different take, which was kind of cool. So the question was, how do I find the right person?
In terms of dating.
In terms of dating.
Yes.
And kind of we tagged on to that is there was a second question on how to have a Christ-centered relationship in high school. So we're kind of like smashed
Merging
them.
those together.
And we're answering both of them. Who wants to start? I'll start. Okay. So Jeremy kind of touched on what I said was I am of the firm belief that there is no such thing as the one. Romantic comedies, they'll tell you different, I know, but there is no the one. There are many the ones that you'll come across, many right people for many different seasons. High school boyfriend of mine was the perfect person for me when I was 17 through 20. My college boyfriend was the perfect person for me when I was 21 to 23. And now I'm in the search for the next right person that, would be 24 to whenever. Maybe 25, maybe 95. I don't know.
Give yourself more credit.
I like to think I would.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing to remember when you're searching for that right person is that you have to be the right person. You're going to attract what you put out in the world. And so if you're putting out negativity and lying and meanness to other people, you're more than likely going to attract a guy or girl who is negative and can be mean and can lie to you and be shady and all that stuff. So you want to be the right person in your heart and in your head before you are looking for the right person, because you'll date many people or maybe only one person if you're Jeremy, and you
right.
He killed it on the first try.
Yes.
She's a star.
Go team.
Yep. But you need to be the right person first, and that's how you find the right person, and that's how you find a Christ-centered relationship. If you are good with God and you've got your relationship down and you're invested, you're going to attract a down and invested Christ-following guy or girl, and that is how you're going to wind up in a great Christ-centered relationship in high school and in college and in life and whenever. So you be the right person. That's how you'll find the right persons or person.
I want to just add to that. What she's saying is that if you are looking for the right person, you're doing it wrong. You should be growing into the right person.
Well, I'm just going to go off of that. My answer is to stop trying. If you're looking for the right person, stop trying, right? Like, I wrote down notes, so I'm sorry if I'm looking at my phone. But stop looking at every person your age of the opposite gender as a potential boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yes.
Just stop.
Great.
Yeah.
So true.
Okay. Put your
Guilty. Guilty as charged.
Every parent in the room going, please.
Yeah. Put your effort into becoming their friends first. Okay, so this is actually my story. My wife, Carly, is back there running lights. Carly and I, our relationship started because we were in a group of friends together, and we just were friends. The group, people in the group started like pairing off, and relationships started happening, and all of a sudden, Carly and I realized at one point that we were just like the only single people in the group, and that just forced us to become really good friends. We spent a lot of time together and hung out, and eventually we started going on dates without realizing they were dates because it was weird. But anyways, yeah, we just kind of had that realization that eventually we were such good friends. We were best friends, in fact, that we realized that, hey, maybe I have feelings for you. And we talked about it, and we did, and we ended up dating, and now we're married. So we both kind of just tried to be friends with people and became friends with each other. Now, I'm not saying this will work for everybody. Netflix rom-coms have told us that it won't.
Don't
but
trust the rom-coms.
but if you can learn how to become a good friend, you'll make an even better boyfriend or girlfriend. That's kind of what we were already saying. So,
Yeah.
That reminds me, I'm cutting in, sorry. That reminds me, podcast and thing that we go to called The Porch did a whole thing on who am I going to marry, and it's for 20 and 30-year-olds. And the comment he made that really has stuck with me is, you're running towards Jesus, and you're just running, and you're volunteering, and you're going to Merge, and you're at church. Take a look around you at who's running at your same speed, and then you're just like, hey, do you want to run together? You want to run together? All right, now we're dating and we're running together, kind of thing. You don't want to be looking at all these places. Look at where you're running, and the people running next to you are running that direction too.
Yeah.
That's good.
I also, so going off of the running metaphor, analogy, anyways, that thing, what I would say is don't do it until you're ready. Like, don't get in that relationship until you are ready for that relationship. Danny, like 24-year-old Danny, absolutely 120% not ready to be married. I thought I was. I was not. So like if somebody is running like up here and I'm still back here, I'm not gonna pull that person back with me because I'm not ready to run at their pace. Don't get in that relationship until you yourself are ready to get into it. I think you talked about, it might have been in your message or it may have been a side conversation we had about loss and transitions, but like when you get married, you lose things. You lose the independence that you had. You lose like just being able to be like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, and like nobody cares what I'm doing because it's just me. But like, no, you have another person now who cares about what you're doing and may not want to do the same thing that you're doing, or may not want
to
you
put
to
the
do
toilet
it.
paper the same way as you put it.
Exactly.
the
So
worst.
Goes down.
you know, like
That's a real tension point.
if
in
you
our
are
house.
not ready to go through that loss and that transition and that change, don't do it. If you guys figure out how to find the one, then let me know.
Okay.
They clearly have found the ones.
Well,
Yeah, we did.
Dating advice. Hello.
Yeah, sure.
thanks, Nicole.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I was the guy who was so afraid to disrespect the lady that every time I wanted to hold her hand, I had to ask until she refused to hold my hand. So I'm probably not the best guide for advice. Somehow or another, by the grace of God, she didn't leave me in my awkwardness. So it's true. She's laughing over here. She literally refused one time on a date night to let me hold her hand because I asked. She's like, bro, we've been dating for like 6 months. Take the dang thing. True story. It happened. I don't know who's next after
Do you
all
have
this.
do you have a real answer to that question, or did you kind of
Well,
do it all?
I talked for so long on the first one that, okay, no, actually, I will.
Oh, why'd
I
you
will.
open it up?
So, I just want to give you really, I'm not going to be quick. I'm never quick.
I start a timer?
I didn't date in high school, but that was intentional. It's not that I couldn't have. I chose not to. And I'm not in any way here promoting that you should or that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. That's not my point. But I will tell you this, why I chose not to. My intentionality was that I realized I was going to lose something. And quite frankly, a lot of my friends were girls. And I was afraid that if I started dating someone, I would lose all of them. And I was just like, I'm 16 years old. I'm not getting married tomorrow. It's like high school, let's be real. It's mostly drama anyways. So I purposely chose not to. And not that I think I'm lucky that I did that, but I will say that when Sarah and I started dating, I went in with no baggage as a result of that, or minimal anyways in that sense. And so not
That's
encouraging
pretty
you
nice.
not to, I'm not out there
I
saying
can't
that,
relate.
but I can say that I'm incredibly grateful that I didn't. And I will say this, I brought significantly less baggage into my marriage because I didn't bounce from person to person to person because I was so needy. And I know some of us are just so hungry for a relationship that it's not the one you actually are hungry for. It's just a quick Band-Aid that makes you feel good. Or I was the other thing, if you're looking for somebody because you are the only one not dating, it's okay to be the single person. You're still by yourself, an incredible creation of God. You don't need the significant other.
Amen.
That's my answer.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
Swinging it to you.
Yep. New topic.
What do me? So
Loss.
a couple weeks ago, Danny talked about how to thrive in the middle of loss. And to answer this question, well, the question was, how do you help others through loss? To answer that question, I have to tell you a little bit about my story. Some of you, if you've been around Grace for long enough, you might have heard it. I've talked about it a couple times. But my dad actually died when I was in middle school. And when I was away from school for a little while, and as my family kind of went through that, and my teachers at school thought they would be helpful, and it kind of was, but they had my entire, almost my entire grade write me sympathy cards and send them to me at home. And so all of a sudden, I opened one from like my crush, and it was kind of cool, and I got cards from all these different people. But what it did was it made everyone at school know what happened to me. And so all of a sudden, I became kind of a pariah. Middle schoolers don't know how to deal with grief and loss, much like we don't know how to deal with grief and loss, and so they avoid it. And so I think loss is one of the sucky parts of our world that is awkward, uncomfortable, and we avoid it. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to think about it. But the problem is the person who's going through loss, it's the only thing they can think about.
Yeah.
And so we try so hard to avoid it, and what we end up doing is we avoid the person who's going through loss. And that's hard. So my answer to this question is, how do you care for someone who's going through loss? Is to acknowledge what happened. That's the first thing. Acknowledge what happened. I have a friend here on staff who lost her husband last year. And the thing she tells people all the time is she goes, I just want people to acknowledge it. Ask me how I'm doing and just be real with me. And so that's the first thing. Just acknowledge what happened. Don't ignore it. And then treat the person like they're just a normal person. Yes, you can care for them. Yes, you can pray for them. Yes, you can be their friend. But hang out with them. Talk to them like they're normal. Send them memes. Do whatever you normally do with that person. Or TikToks, I guess, at this point. Memes aren't really even a thing these days. But just be normal. Acknowledge what's going on, but be normal with them. Honor their pain and respect what they're going through, but treat them like a normal person. So, yeah, that's that one.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that, Brian.
Actually, hold on. I have one more part. I lost my notes. A good example of this in my life. Do people know Tim Moriello? Still here. He was a middle school pastor for a long time. When my dad died, Tim Moriello came and he picked me and my friend up and took us to Burger King. A sixth grade boy sitting in Burger King, and we started talking about video games and girls and probably Pokemon cards and stuff that normal kids in the 90s talked about. But after we did that, we went and filled up his paintball air tanks because he was going paintballing the next day. And it was so pointless. But the thing was, here's what happened. He acknowledged what I was going through. We talked about it. And then he treated me like a normal kid. And so, and to this day, actually, I serve in student ministries because of what Tim did for me. Yeah. Tim was an adult in my life when I was going through one of the hardest moments of my life, and he cared for me. And that's what your small group leaders do for you, by the way.
Yep.
And so, yeah, Tim's my example, and I hope that's an example for you too.
All right. And then my question was kind of an interesting question, and I resonated with it really well, was how do you grieve a loss that you chose? Which I think is something that a lot of us do. It can look a lot of different ways. It can be cutting out toxic people. That's kind of a trendy thing right now, is to cut the toxic people out of your life. That's a weird thing to trend, but it is.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. But it's also like, when I told you guys, oh God, like months ago when I first spoke, I changed my major in college. I thought I'd be married on my way to being a neurosurgeon, like living somewhere really cool when I was this age, not sitting on stage working at a church in hospitality.
What are you
single.
saying about us?
What?
What are you saying about me?
What are you saying about us?
Being a
Are our
neurosurgeon is
aspirations
cooler
too
than
low
working at
for
Grace
you?
Church?
Just kidding.
Yeah. I just had too high of aspirations. God was like,
Knocked you down a notch.
Yeah, seriously. But you know, and it's breakups too. Breakups can be a loss that you grieve. It takes a long time. So my advice on those losses that you chose is, it's like all loss. It just takes time. It really does. And sometimes it's really quick. There have been breakups I've gone through. I bounced back in like a week, and I was like, done. New me, ready to go, moving on. And there's breakups that have taken me like 4 or 5 years to get over, kind of thing. And that's not even an exaggeration. It's just very different, and every loss is very different, and every plan that changes, or new choice that you make, or person that you choose to leave, or college degree that you choose to switch up, like that is something that you will grieve and you will change. And Amy actually was telling us, sorry Amy, I see you there in the second row. She was telling us we're in our community life team talking about change, and whether it's a positive or negative change, you do grieve. You grieve your positive changes. Grace is going through a huge series of changes that have been positive and negative, but we grieve both of those. And you grieve your negative ones, obviously. So you just need to take your time, take your space, take your self-care. I'm telling you, I talked about that weeks ago. Take your self-care, be with your friends, and kind of like what Brian's saying, your friends need to, if your friend is grieving something that they chose to do, break up, chose to make a choice that was a mistake, people grieve their mistakes too. So if you mess up or make a mistake, that deserves grief just as prominently as everything else does in your life. If you know a friend that's like that, acknowledge it. Be like, hey, you broke up with so-and-so? You doing okay? And if they say, I don't want to talk about it, be like, cool, let's go to Starbucks, get a coffee, moving on.
Starbucks.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But it's just,
Starbucks heals a lot of things.
it really does.
It does.
But it takes time. Whether you chose it or it happened to you unknowingly, grief takes time. And just be willing to acknowledge that, and be willing to know that God's got a plan. If he's keeping you in a place of grief that's significantly longer than you wanted, I would have loved to have bounced back from some of my breakups in 2 days rather than 5 years, but it's just the reality of a situation. Just take your time, pray, lean into God, trust that he knows where you're going in life much better than you do, and be with your friends who are also grieving choices that they made.
Yep. Okay, so my question on loss was, and I briefly touched on this in my message, and I didn't go into too much detail, but how do you keep going when others have forgotten that you're going through loss and grief and think that you should be over it? 1, if they tell you should be over it, don't listen to them, because that's just not how it works.
Oh, we wish.
Yes.
but
So
no.
as I said in my message, everybody's feelings are valid, and we are all allowed to have our feelings, and we get over our feelings at our own pace when it is our time to get over our feelings. Brian may have gotten over his loss faster or slower than I'm getting over my loss, and that's okay. I don't judge him. He doesn't judge me. We both know we have hard days sometimes, and that's okay. But like, if somebody tells you to get over it, no. And maybe reconsider that friendship, or tell them, no, you're wrong. Let's be real though, I would never tell somebody they're wrong, but
I was like, wow, I would never.
You would just avoid them.
I
from then
sure
on
would.
out.
I
And
would
it's like,
avoid that
don't know
person. Yes, conflict, let me run the other way. But I think, so I mentioned in my message that, and Rob Yonan explained it to me this way when Caitlin passed away. When the thing happens, so like in Caitlin's case, it was when she went to hospice. People check in on you all the time during that phase, and they're like, are you okay? What do you need? What can I bring you? Can I drive you somewhere? Let me do this for you at work. Or like, let me take the dog out, let me do this. And then in our scenario, when she was in hospice for 3 months, slowly those things stopped. And I just got into this routine of go to work, let out the dog, go to hospice, go to work, let out the dog, go to hospice. And people like just stopped checking in then. And then it happened, and Caitlin passed away, and it was, oh my gosh, what can I do for you? Let me send you $15 on Venmo so you can go get something to eat. Let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. And they check in on you, and then after a couple weeks, they stop checking in on you. But then they cycle back on those hard days, like the birthdays and the anniversaries of the death and all of those things. And then that eventually stops too. So there's different phases of people stopping to check in on you. And it's really hard to not get frustrated with people when they do that. But it's also important to recognize that, like, my biggest concern in life is also not their biggest concern in life. And would I appreciate the heck out of it if they checked in on me and were like, hey, I know it's Caitlin's birthday, how are you doing? I'd be like, yes, thank you for checking in on me, and today sucks. But not everybody's gonna remember her birthday like I remember her birthday. So it can be frustrating, but try and understand that, like, it's not, the things that are important to you aren't always important to other people. But we also have done that to people. Like, I've stopped checking in on people when I know something happens to them because I kind of move on, and maybe they're not moving on and they're kind of stuck in that mud still. And so it's important to recognize if you're being that person to somebody too. Yeah, I don't know. That's.
I have a follow-up, but I
Yeah.
don't know where we're at on.
We're
when
fine.
supposed to
Keep
be
going.
done.
We're fine.
Well, my follow-up is for people like I haven't ever gone through a significant
Yep.
loss in my personal life like you guys have. So I'm wondering, you know, for those of us who avoid, which is most of us, we avoid other people's grief. We don't know how to check in. What's the best way to check in more consistently than just on the days or like for the first few months? How do you keep checking in that's effective and feels genuine and doesn't just feel like I'm checking a box on my to-do list?
You want to answer or do you want me to?
I'll just give one quick answer, and it's not actually an answer to your question, but
Why did
it's
I
going
ask?
back to acknowledging it. Ask the person what they need from you.
Yeah.
They might not know, and that's okay, so keep asking them. Hey, what do you need from me today?
Yeah.
Okay. You need someone to talk to? Cool, I'll come talk to you. Hey, you just need someone to sit next to you while you do something because you don't want to be alone? Okay, I'll come sit with you. Just ask them what they need. If they don't know the answer, just keep asking.
Yep. And like what I need from different people is different. Like I may ask Jeremy when I'm having a tough week to like give me all the things to do because I want to be busy and I don't want to sit and dwell in it. But what I need from my mom or my dad or my sister may be completely different because those people know me more emotionally and they can be there for me in a way that I wouldn't expect Jeremy to. But also, I don't know, ask them how you can be there for them and check in on them. Like if somebody called me and wanted to talk to me about it, I'm not answering the phone because I will cry and I don't want to cry. But if you send me a text, I can answer it on my time. And it's just, I don't want you to hide your emotions and I don't want you to hide behind your phone or the screen. But sometimes it's easier to respond that way because you have time to think about it. You're not on the phone trying not to cry and trying to think of what you want to say to that person. So just ask somebody, like, what does checking in on you look like? I don't know. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a tag on to that. Two things. One, the best time to be their good friend is not when they experience loss, but every day. So don't wait to be the good friend just because they experience loss. Like, yes, but like you get the opportunity to really be there for people because you have been there for people.
I would say that we've also figured out who our true friends are.
Yes,
through
as a
those
result,
things.
right.
Would you agree? Like, there are people
Yeah.
that I've dropped.
It's scary, it's sad,
Because
but it's true.
I was like, you did not exactly.
And it's not to be
like
mean, it's
you
just
weren't
true.
there for me. And yeah, I think it's a great time to figure out who your people really are.
But also give those people grace because, like we
100%,
said,
because
they
it's
might,
hard.
they
It's
might
weird.
not know what they need to do.
100%. Yes.
The other thing is, so I've had the wonderful privilege of sitting down with tons of students and parents, and I think of the Kelly parents getting that phone call at like 10:30 in the morning right before 11 o'clock service back in September. And all that mom needed was for me to stay on a phone for like 15 minutes. I remember Sarah and I were trying to have lunch, and the mom called, and I couldn't articulate one word for you on what she said, but she just needed me to sit there. I didn't need to understand it. I think presence, proximity, being there for them is not in the form of buying, although that might be a good example, but literally just be there. Don't act different. Be just the normal you for them.
Yep.
Consistently, all the time. I mean, don't obviously like swallow them up, but just be the friend you've always been. And I like something that Brian, you said about like avoiding the topic. Don't avoid the person either. I think that's easy to do because it's like such a high pressure space. If I had to be the best friend, the perfect person, if I had to have the answer for every person who's lost a family member, I would be the worst pastor on the planet. But that's not what we need to be. We need to be there for the people. We need to show empathy, of course, and that's really hard, but the most important step is to just be there for them before, during, after, always.
Yep.
I have one small last
Okay.
follow. Am I still good on time to ask
We're,
one?
go ahead.
Well, I'm just one. Another question
Yeah.
that I have when I have people in my life that go through loss is I don't ever want to be the person that, like, you come in, you're having a great day, you haven't really,
Thought about it?
thought about it or anything like that, and I ask you how you're doing, and now all of a sudden I'm the person that brought up your sad thing, and now you're sad because I brought up your loss. And how do you get over that fear? Do you have an answer for that? That might be a horrible question to ask.
As the person who is the friend or the person who's lost something? Someone.
Both. No,
Sorry.
right?
As the person who has experienced the loss, I think have grace and recognize that it is hard for people and people aren't going to know what to say. And sometimes that is just nice because I know you're checking in on me, and maybe there might be days where I let it really change my mood, but also there might be days where I'm just like, oh, that person cares about me. Like, cool. And then I can continue on with my good day. I don't know.
When you're grieving, when you're going through loss, it's really easy for you to hurt other people. Because of the pain inside of you, it's real easy that reaches out and hurts other people. And so, one, give yourself grace and that. But as a friend, I think, I don't know, it's different for every person in every situation, but acknowledging it and asking how the person's doing, even if they break down crying, they might have needed that. And so, heck, they might even hurt you, they might say something, but just acknowledge what they're going through and just be present.
And
It'll be okay.
I think you asking could trigger something, like if they've been masking that pain, it can trigger the release of the pain and the emotion. And, oh no, my thought just,
Catch it.
it's gone. Oh man. And if somebody tells you, if somebody tells you, like, don't really feel like talking about it, it's cool. Don't let it be an awkward moment. Just keep doing what you're doing. And as the person going through loss, be okay saying that. And yeah.
As the friend, embrace the awkwardness too.
Yep.
I remember
Go
one
for it.
time Aaron and I, we were about to do a podcast, and we were at the North Indy campus. This was like September, August of last year.
Still's not
And you
posted.
were
Sorry.
What's that?
It's still not posted.
We never posted it, never finished it, but that's beside the point. But we recorded it.
Yep.
Maybe. Nonetheless, I remember you were walking around the building, you were showing us because Aaron had never been there. And at one point, you just start talking. It was completely off topic in every way, but you just felt comfortable. You had a space. And I remember Aaron and I just standing there and going, and I remember after Aaron and I going, like, that was a kind of a cool moment. It was unexpected.
Because at that point, you didn't know, like,
I
the
knew
story.
just a small portion of the story, but it was so evident that you just needed to release in a very safe space, and how grateful and how honorable it is to be the person that they will do that for. So I think, although I hear that's a fair tension, you asking how somebody's doing, it may be unintentional that you go there, but if they release in front of you, like, that's why I say embrace the awkwardness, because what a privilege it is to be the friend who gets to be there. That is such a great honor. And I want to, not to cut that off because we can keep asking. I know we're running out of time.
You answered the other question
Okay.
real quick.
And then I know Brian has one really quick.
Yep.
So the question that I got has kind of to do with some transition. And I think we have some seniors in the house who are about to make a massive transition in life. But the question, and all the small group leaders and moms of them are about to weep. But the question was, how do I follow God's calling if it makes somebody else mad? And so the reason why I took this question is because I resonate with it. Not mad, but I'm in ministry, and I knew I was going to be in ministry coming out of high school. And I have a math degree because my mom was not overly excited that her twin boys wanted to go in ministry. Not that they didn't want to go in ministry. I grew up a pastor's kid. My mom knew how tough it was. And so being the wonderful mom she was, scared. And I remember, I'll never forget her saying this statement. She goes, go get something other than ministry so you have a backup plan. And you should have seen my twin and I's face. We were ready to fight. And I have a couple of thoughts on my emotions, what I learned from that experience that I think could help the person or the people who are asking this question. And whether you're going to ministry or not, that is a true thing. I know somebody who was Sarah and I's previous ministry who she wanted to, I think, be a nurse, and her mom was stuck on the fact that she was going to be a lawyer. And the girl's like, I'm not going to be a lawyer. So it doesn't have to be just in ministry. It could be anything. But I'm going to John chapter 7, Luke chapter 7. And this is the story where Jesus is talking to John the Baptist, sadly, right before John the Baptist dies. And it says, verse 20, John the Baptist's 2 disciples, found Jesus and said to him, John the Baptist sent us to ask you, are you the real Messiah we have been expecting, or should we keep looking for someone else? Now, this is odd because John the Baptist was the cousin of Jesus. This was a few chapters after he already saw him and baptized him. So it's a weird question, but I love Jesus' answer. Jesus tells John's disciples, go back and tell John what you have seen and heard. These are clarifiers. There's 7 clarifiers that the ancient Jews were looking for in a true Messiah. So these are 7 things that Jesus gives because these were throughout the book of Isaiah and the other prophets who were foretelling the coming of Jesus. The blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cured, the deaf can hear, the dead have been raised to life, and the good news is being preached to the poor. And tell him, God blesses those who do not turn away because of me. Let me give you a quick clarifier on this. In the New Testament, it is evident throughout the Gospels, and we see the tension even in the epistles that Paul wrote, that most of them were excited for a Messiah that looked like an earthly king. There's a great book by Max Lucado, however you say his name, it's called Seeing God Through Shattered Glass. And the whole idea is that when the disciples got to feed the 5,000 with Jesus, they were all upset that they had to feed the 5,000. Why? Because they had just rallied 5,000 men plus women and children, a huge group of people, over 12,000 people, and they were like, we have finally rallied the troops. Jesus, let's take over Rome. That's what the disciples were expecting. They wanted a God who was a king. Now, we talk about Jesus as our king. He's our Lord. Like, isn't it great to talk to a God who's all-powerful? The thing is, though, that's only one half of the Old Testament prophetic Messiah. The other half, I love it, it's actually called the suffering lamb. The reason why he brings these things up is because he says in verse 23, God blesses those who do not turn away because of me. Why? The way for me is the suffering lamb part. So, to the person who asked this question and myself, the advice that my mother gave me that I really needed was, okay, you tell me you heard from God. Now, have you heard somebody come up to you and said, well, God told me, so I got to tell you what? That is like the most ridiculous statement ever. And the reason I suggest that is because to suggest that God told you, well, what if I said God told me and God told you and we were different? Here's what I think we should do. This is the more accurate way, is to say, I think God has influenced me through my study, through my prayer, my presence with God. I think God has said to me. Now, I went to my mom and said, nope, God told me I'm going to be a pastor, Mom, and you are going to support me or get out of the way. And then she said she was paying, and the conversation didn't go so well. Because I was only worshiping a God that was a king. My mom knew that I needed to worship a God that was a suffering lamb too. And so when you were talking about a God who told you, here's my question for you. Are you talking about a God who's a suffering lamb or a God who's just Lord and you can use that lordship over other people? Because I can tell you every single day in ministry, it feels like a suffering lamb. It's not been easy at Grace. And my mom knew this was coming. And yes, this question is coming from the premise that it's going to be hard. And so I don't know what your circumstances are. Some of you are Christians and your parents aren't. And it's been a trial like nobody's business. You are worshiping a Jesus who chose to suffer on your behalf. So if you were going into a situation and you were trying to figure out how you're going to do it, just know you're worshiping a God who is a king but is also the suffering lamb. And Jesus told John the Baptist, John the Baptist knew it. He was about to be beheaded. If you go to read the Mark account, the very next chapter, John the Baptist is beheaded and killed. And Jesus was comforting him. Yes, because you're worshiping the suffering lamb. Your mama probably doesn't like it, maybe, like my story. But you know what? I've heard my mom say left and right how proud she is of me because I kept going. And am I thankful that I got a math degree? Yes, because here's actually what I've learned. There is wisdom in the people who challenge you. Find the wisdom in it. I'm not saying everything they say is right, but my mom did not tell me I shouldn't go study ministry because she hated me. She said it because she loved me. And the same for Jesus. If you're struggling on whether it's right or wrong, you're not just worshiping a God who has all the right answers. You're worshiping the God who went through all the turmoil so that you would know that you were loved. And so sometimes we got to look more like the suffering lamb and go in with Jesus. It's not easy, but go for it. Trust it. And you know you can trust it because the people around you who truly support you are going to guide you there. My mom pushed back like nobody's business. But I can tell you, my mom was right. Why was my mom right? Because what my mom actually cared about was that I was genuinely listening to the Spirit of God and not just doing what 18-year-old Jeremy thought was the right thing for the whole world. And when I was 18, I was mostly wrong. So
Nothing's changed.
nothing has changed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
How to thrive in friendships.
All right. How to thrive in transition.
Let's be real. We all were really not smart in high school. Every parent in the room could probably say the exact same thing. You're not smart in high school. It's okay, Audra.
She is smarter
We love
than,
you,
but she is
The
the
distinguished
smartest.
student at Carmel is not smart. It's all good. Go ahead.
But she did beat you, and now you're smarter than an intern.
she did, actually. That's true.
And the question
All right,
is,
we need to move on.
Yep.
So the last question is about transitions, which is what Jeremy talked about last week. And I'm, like I said at the beginning, I am in the middle of a transition right now. My job here at Grace is changing, and that's been interesting, to say the least. But as I process through what I think you guys need to hear, for the question is, how do you handle the next form of transition in life? And for seniors specifically, how do you, what's the key to embracing transition into college successfully? So I came up with 3 R's that I want to give you. I literally came up with them as I was sitting here, so if you saw me typing, it's because I was changing them all so they start with an R, because, you know, it's catchy that way.
That's
Love it.
important.
I love
Yeah.
it.
So the first one is to remember what God has done. The Bible gives us a really good example of this. The Israelites, after they left Egypt, it's after Moses is dead, and Joshua is leading them into the promised land, and they cross the Jordan, and the first thing they do is they stop, and Joshua has them take a bunch of stones and put them in a pile and make a monument to what God had done for them. So the first thing to do in transition is to remember what God has done and celebrate it. The second is to rest. Just take moments for yourself, self-care, rest before you move on to what's next. And then the last piece is to release. So it's really hard when you move into something else to release what was behind you. Especially seniors, as you go into college, it's going to be really hard to release high school and your high school friends, and you're living with your family, and all of a sudden be in this new world where you have new friends and you are not around your family and your life is different. And just releasing your expectations, releasing your experience before you move into that thing, and then move on into what's next. Specifically for seniors, I think the biggest piece of advice I can give you as you transition well is to don't come home every weekend in the fall.
Don't
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
Don't
do it.
Stay
do
at
it.
school, get to know
Stay.
people,
Biggest
live
regret.
into it, release home, and come back at fall break. That's it.
Okay. Well,
We are making a weird transition. We are going to go back into worship. Boy, we like to talk, don't we? We've done great.
Don't
If you're
we?
on the band, go ahead and make your way up so we can make a little faster transition. But as Brian mentioned, he's left Grace Church. He's still on staff in an incredible role. But we did want to take a minute to honor him and say thank you. If you guys haven't known, he has been serving in Grace Kids, or not Grace Kids, but in Student Ministries. Gosh, wow. I oversee both. I get mixed, but you've overseen in some capacity as few small groups for
Since 2009.
2009, so 12 years. So yes, give it up.
I was 15.
And we as a team, we bought you and Carly a date night gift. So there's a gift card
Movie
to
night.
a restaurant. There's movie night with all of our favorite, what we think you guys should eat, and also Blockbuster game. Most of you probably don't know what Blockbuster is, but that's
I
what
love
people do.
Blockbuster.
So there you go.
We wanted to get you Star Wars Monopoly, and I sent Carly a text, and I said, "Does he have that?" And she was like, "I think so."
I do. I
So
also
we
have Disney World
figured
Monopoly. That's a good
We
one.
got you a Blockbuster game because you know all the movies.
Thank you.
So, but before we do, we want to commission Brian into his new role and also just let him know how much we have loved him and appreciated him. And so from your team, we love you, Brian. Carly as well, thank you so much. And give it up for Brian. He is You all know that we would not have thrived 1 week in South Auditorium if I had to do it. And he legitimately made this possible. We wouldn't thrive now for 1 week if it was up to me. But yes. Anyways, so I would love to take the opportunity to pray for you. And because this is a hard transition for Brian. As exciting as it is, It's been, he's in our office as much now as he was before. He's like,
I miss them a lot.
So, anyways, if you guys would, let's stand. We're gonna get ready to worship. Let's stand, and we're gonna just, if you would, just reach out your hand out towards Brian, and we're breaking social distancing rules. It looks like. So, but we're gonna, because
He's vaccinated.
I know many of your faith is what it is today because of Brian's faithfulness. Brian saw you guys through a massive transition 2 years ago. And we're not going to forget everything that Brian has done. And I know you guys for years and years and years will go back and think, Brian said that. Brian was supportive. Brian was there. And so Brian, I said this in the card, but thousands of kids' lives eternally have been changed because of your faithfulness. And so we just want to say thank you for that. And adults, and a few adults as well. So mine included.
Are you an adult?
Would you guys pray with me? Dear Heavenly Father, you place people in their lives intentionally. And Brian has been one of those for all of us. We are so incredibly grateful for his faithfulness, his commitment to grace. He has gone through, as a staff member, he has gone through every major transition that Grace has gone through. And he has stuck it out, and he has never given up on the student ministry. We are so excited for what you are doing in him, and it's honestly actually a promotion. It's a bigger role. It's a place where he can even have more impact and influence at Grace Church. And I know he's going to be working with us in student ministries a lot to make sure that our digital strategy makes sense and we're being effective to reaching students online. But Lord, it's not just about the titles that he's carried, because he's had many. He's gone from curriculum to Fuse to worship and programming and now into digital arts, Lord. It's the countless hours of meeting with a kid. It's showing a middle school boy or girl that they could lead worship. It's given them hope and sometimes just a fatherly figure that he knows how much is needed for a young kid's life. Lord, I thank you so much for the grace that he has led with. The grace that he gave me when I first came in, guns a-blazing, and said, Jeremy, that's not how we do it. I'm like, okay. But Lord, I could not be more grateful for Brian. And just this student ministry wouldn't be here in this space, not just in this room, but in general, for what he was willing to do 2 summers ago to make sure it happened. In the midst of pure chaos, he completely redoes a room because he loves this ministry that much. And so, Lord, it's my prayer that as he continues to serve here at Grace, that he would continue to be filled with your Spirit and to continue to multiply the love of Jesus to even more people than in student ministries, but now to the whole church. Lord, we thank you so much for the fact that he is a living example of your gospel and the grace and love that he has given us. So bless them. May this gift just be a small token of our appreciation, but really just how much all of Merge loves Brian and Carly. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys. Give it up for
Love
them.
you, Brian.
Okay, parents, we're going to go a little bit over, but we got some more worship, so let's worship Jesus.
All right, so bear with us. We have around 5 more songs left. Woo! So if you need to leave, you can go, but you can stick around. As we wait, seek your face. Come and make your throne upon our praise. Here place. Have your way. The moment that we see you, we are changed. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. In wonder and surrender, we fall down. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Let every burning heart be holy ground. Not by power, not by might, but only by the cross we come alive. Here we're undone, overcome by heaven's love revealed before our eyes. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. In wonder and surrender, we fall down. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Let every burning heart be holy ground. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. In wonder and surrender, we fall down. Show us your glory. Show us your glory. Let every burning heart be holy ground. Let it be chains fall, fear bow here now. Jesus, you change everything. Lives healed, hope found here now. Jesus, you change everything. Chains fall, fear bow here now. Jesus, you change everything. Lives healed, hope thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. Oh, you I know the night won't last. Your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. You've never failed me. You never will. You've never failed me, and you never will. I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I believe I've seen you do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. He keeps moving through it all, yes, He keeps moving. Sing God of the mountains, let's sing God of the valleys. He'll do it, yes, He'll do it again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. forever. Strangers, neighbors, our blood is one. Children of generations of every nation, of kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take control of, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Oh, 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 Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, then forever, His kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Oh, oh, all you heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All those children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come. Oh. got a feeling the darkness will last very long. I've got a feeling the darkness will last very long. Oh, I've got a feeling the darkness won't last very long. I've got a feeling the darkness won't last very long. Oh, I've got a feeling the darkness won't last very long. Oh, 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 let this sleeping world awaken. There's a new day on the rise, and the enemy is shaking as the graveyards spring to life. So we will sing, we will dance till the earth echoes the heavens. Sing His praise till we see the other side. Let His sleeping world awake. There's a new day on the rise, and the atmosphere is breaking as the new world comes to life. Let's bring the sleeping world awaken. There's a new day on the rise, and the atmosphere is breaking as the new world comes to life. So we will sing, we will dance till the earth echoes the heavens. Sing His praise till we see the other side. Oh, 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 Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come.
That's all for tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming. We're exhausted. You're exhausted. But it was so worth it. Thank you so much for being here.